While I waffle on in my usual introductory way, watch the dropship seat indicator. Dropships are transports. As dropship pilots, we should be transporting and supporting our team. Our ships are not for assaulting the enemy, they're there to help our ground forces do the assaulting. Our side guns, if fitted, are a deterrent or last-minute measure, rather than assault-level platform weapons. And transporting is fun, it really is. Seeing your actions change the flow of a battle, or like in an upcoming clip, saving an out-of-ammo and outgun friendly from an enemy by dropping from nowhere to save the day and whisking him to safety onto an ammo hive, is awesome. I ask the Americans watching to excuse the way I say the word awesome in such a British way. It kind of sounds like I'm saying reasonably pleasing. Stiff upper lips and all that. These seat-hopping settleberries are a frustration to all of us. I was actually landing to recall as the battle was won and the enemy had resorted to swarming me from the red line. I didn't want to lose my ship, but these two hopped in and wouldn't leave. I tried team chat, but then I got frustrated, so I took them to where I take all my settleberries on this map, to Jumper's Crater. You'll see why in a moment. The great view and the temptation of can I walk to that building over there is just too hard to resist, so out they go. As they hit the ground, they learn all about aerial red zones not being the same as ground ones. Not red up here, but it sure is down there. Let's watch and see who pops first. One, two. If dead clones were not eaten by nanos, you would have seen a whole pile of settled berries in this crater, dropped there by me. This is why we need better means to communicate. These guys were not on voice, and I had no way to ask them to get out. They also had no way to tell me they really wanted to get to A, or to C, or wherever. Getting frustrated at the game and trolling other players is not the way to solve the issues we have. This is why we also have to be wary of giving pilots the power to eject passengers at any time. Even the most patient and fair of us eventually lose to our inner troll. The issue is this. Players wanting transportation have no good way to let pilots know where they want to go and when they need to go there. Let me show you a mocked up solution. It uses current game mechanics and assets in a way that I think is easily technically feasible. As usual, watch it first at game speed, then I'll break it down slowly, section by section, for you after that. The situation is this. The dropship pilot is at spawn refilling his ammo, while an infantry player is over by the enemy red line, wanting to get into a rooftop for a better view. Here we go. Obviously there's a lot in there and it happens very quickly, so let me break that down for you. The pilot is at spawn refreshing his supplies from a nearby supply depot. He gets back in his ship and waits. The infantry player is up on the enemy red line. The other team's been pushed back to the red zone, and from his current position he's unable to see or hit them. Spotting a nearby tower, which would give him a height advantage and maybe help him spot the enemy, he brings up his weapon wheel. If there's a friendly dropship in the game, then one of the slots on this first wheel is a transport button. I put it here for clarity, but it could be any size and anywhere. If there's no dropship to call, this option's not available. He selects it. Like squad orders, he gets a travel icon that's glued to the crosshair. This means it stays center screen where he points until he hits R1, then it changes to a flashing target circle, so he knows his destination has been set. Any dropship pilot in the game gets a button press option that pops up, letting him know a player has requested transportation. He can accept or refuse the request. He also gets a blue plane icon that hugs the edge of the screen, letting him know their direction. We could put a range inside it too if we wanted. Now any pilot on the map gets this. So if another pilot accepts the request before he does, then the options to accept it disappear. He takes off, but until he presses cross or circle, the plane icon remains white. He accepts the request by pressing X and the icon changes to yellow. I'll explain the colours later on. At the same moment he accepts the request, the assault player, who asked for a lift, gets a message letting him know a dropship's on the way. If his request is denied, the assault player is informed too. As the dropship flies to the pickup point, the coloured target stays hugging the edge of the screen, pointing at the pickup request player. If he moves, it moves. The icon shows the direction to fly when far away, and like the objective markers, moves over the target when closer or looking at it. We could change the shape, colour or size, add range, or one of many other possible options, but for now let's leave those and just work on the main concept. At this point in the approach, the icon changes to have a red marker above it. This indicates the person who called in the ship is taking damage. The reason for this is so if a pilot gets several requests at once, he can prioritise. He can choose those at risk, or not risk his ship flying to dangerous locations. When in radar range, the target vanishes to indicate a pickup point is near, and to remove screen clutter. This is so the pilot can see threats on the ground. At the same moment, the player who called in the dropship is highlighted in the same colour as the plane icon on the radar. From the assault player's position, as the dropship that accepted his request gets within radar range, he gets a yellow triangle to show him it's the dropship that he requested that's overhead. As the dropship pilot's overhead, the pilot can open the bay doors. This is more to act as a trigger than anything else. If they are closed again, this cancels the pickup. This is so once closed by the pilot, can let the player on the ground know that the LZ is too dangerous and the pilot's decided not to complete the lift. If the assault player manages to get in, then two things happen. The first is that the seat he gets into is assigned a colour. 6 seats, 6 colours. If he changes seats, his colour goes with him. The second is a yellow target circle appears, and this time it's a flashing target, and it tracks Mr. Yellow's destination. Any players who get in with Mr. Yellow, who don't set a destination, get a default green seat. As soon as we land and Mr. Yellow gets out, the target icon disappears and his yellow seat marker is removed. The pilot gets points and he moves on. Seats, requests and targets are given colours so the pilot can see that, when he lands at the destination, that Mr. Yellow has indeed left the ship. The target icon is only removed when the player who set it leaves the ship. So the pilot moves on to his next job, which is placing uplinks to someone who's asked for them on a rooftop. As he's on his way, another pickup request comes in. The blue plane icon shows the pilot the direction and range, and the option buttons let him decide how to act. As he's busy, he rejects the request. After dropping the links, the request for transportation comes up again. The transport icon indicates it was the same player who was just rejected. This time the pilot accepts. As he approaches, the icon changes to show his pickup is getting shot, and eventually the icon vanishes and he gets a message letting him know that his pickup's been killed. I could go into great detail on every step and stage. I want to avoid that. What I'm aiming for here is a top-level concept to show that with existing assets, a way to solve the biggest transportation issue can be attempted. Infantry need to let pilots know they want to lift and where they want to go. This type of solution might help pilots and infantry work better together. We can use some, all, or none of these ideas and put them out there as discussion. Let's think of ways to make transportation rewarding for both ground and air forces. We want ground forces to be pleased that there's a dropship on their side. Now you know what's going on. I'll run that again for you at normal speed. Let me just show you what it looked like for the guy inside the dropship, then I'll wrap up. As it's hard to see out of a dropship, a simple destination marker with range for the passenger lets him know if he's close. But why do we need a non-comms solution? We could just get on comms and say what we need. It's simple. We share this game with people with hearing difficulties, and we play it with those who cannot speak the same language as us. We also play with the shy, or those who are struggling to make their head. These people need to be included in our community too. I do have some ideas for fixing voice comms, but I'm going to leave that for another video. So this is one of my suggestions for transportation. There are lots more to come, but in the meantime, have at it.